It was only last week that I was saying that one of the realities of running a handmade business is that you were constantly putting out fires and problem solving. And here I am, problem solving again. Hello, welcome back. Welcome if you're new here. I'm Kim. This is the Coffee and Craft Chat. I have coffee, still no craft. I'll get there. And today's handmade business chat is simply going to be me moaning about Mailchimp, but also explaining why mailing lists are king, or queen, or supreme. My lovely, beautiful mailing list. My mailing list is beautiful. My mailing list provider, Mailchimp, is not. I'm in a mood with it. I might be breaking up with it. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what the title of this video is going to end up being, but it's going to be something along the lines of Mailchimp is annoying me. But I have also put on the membership a shout out to basically just what I wanted ideas as to what members wanted to see more of there. And both there and here on this channel, people have asked about mailing lists because it's a huge part of how I run my Beech Tree handmade side, as in the handmade physical product side of my business. And with the recent shop update, mushrooms, it's a thing. You can they're in the shop if you're interested. But the recent update, almost all of my sales came from my mailing list, that or this here YouTube channel, which was very nice. So with that in mind, I thought now is the time to do a video on mailing lists. I do get asked quite periodically to do a video on mailing lists, or I get questions about mailing lists, etc., and how to build one or how to grow one. And I tend to drag my feet with it because it's such a dry, unsexy topic. In the day and age of the internet and communicating with people on the internet, mailing lists seems very old. I can't think of a better way of saying it, but at the same time, I've been running my business for years now. How long have I been doing it? Too long, over a decade. And a mailing list has never not been a part of that. It's never not been a tool that has brought me income, and that is really freaking saying something. So as much as people might like to be like, oh, nobody reads emails anymore, I beg to differ. Obviously, it really does depend on your customer, but as I say, I've not had a part of my business yet. No, I've not had a time in my business yet where a mailing list hasn't been essential and relevant, so including now. So to anyone who disagrees. I know, I'm so professional. Right, I am not blurry, I don't think. I can't actually see the screen, and I don't want to wear my glasses because I'm annoyed with them too. Why am I annoyed with Mailchimp? Let's start there. Well, fairly recently, it wasn't extremely recently, it was a little while ago, but I didn't do anything about it because everything was happening. They basically changed what was available to free accounts, which is what I use because I'm tight. I don't want to pay for a mailing list if I don't have to. Not to mention, I don't really run many automated emails. And when I say many, I had one. And that was the welcome email. It was simply, if somebody signed up to my mailing list, they would receive an automated welcome email with their code, because that is the whole point of joining my mailing list. It's solely for the handmade physical business part, and it gives you a discount. That's the reason to sign up to it. So it's kind of annoying that they've now gone, oh no, if you want any automated emails, including a welcome email, you must pay. Now I should point out, I find Mailchimp to be a very efficient and effective platform to use. However, I don't do that much with my mailing list to justify the monthly cost, just so that I can do one automated email. And most mailing list providers or platforms do allow you at least one automated email because they have that welcome email as in the back of their mind. So it was pretty cheeky of Mailchimp to do that. So I've been spending the last few days looking elsewhere, basically, to see if I could break up with Mailchimp and flounce off in a huff. And it turns out it's going to be a little bit more complicated than that. I mean, isn't everything these days? And I will get to this in a minute because I'm going to be talking about, if you haven't got a mailing list, just the general steps that you're going to have to take to create one or to build one and to start growing it. But most importantly, the things that you're going to have to think about. But for those who are wondering, the solution that I've come up with for now is simply to do it myself. Every morning I sit at my computer, I have a little list of just basic admin tasks that I have to do every single day. For example, checking my emails, and now checking my mailing list every morning to see if anybody new has joined, and if they have, manually sending out a pre-written welcome email with their discount code in it. That's going to have to now be added to the list because I can't automate it thanks to Mailchimp. Is that an ideal solution? No. But it's doable for me, as I say, because my mailing list is very small and manageable, and I don't do all of the bells and whistles with it. If you had a much bigger mailing list and you did run a lot of automated campaigns, well, arguably then paying for a paid subscription would be better, but not for me. So that's how I'm attacking this particular problem. I'm sure there'll be another one in a few days' time, there always is. But Mailchimp will not beat me. But I will continue to be looking elsewhere because obviously I want to put more time and effort into my mailing list because it is such an important part of my business. Which brings me on to the part of the video where I try to convince you to also have a mailing list if you haven't got one, or to dust off your also neglected mailing list if you're like me and have slightly neglected it. I say I've neglected it. I use it. It's not neglected. It's definitely not neglected, but I would like it to have a little bit more TLC. So I'm going to be talking about this as if you haven't got a mailing list, but obviously you can take what serves you and leave the rest as always. Okay, so the first thing that you will need to do, you may think it's looking for a platform to use to set up your mailing list, but it's actually not. Before you even get to that point, you have to sit down and you have to brainstorm exactly what you want to do with your mailing list, which is actually harder than you think. My mailing list has looked very different over the years. I ended up starting off trying to offer all of the bells and whistles, and I think it's very telling that years on, my mailing list is basic because I got burnt out with it. It ended up being a whole job all of its own, and you have to think about the kind of person that you want to join your mailing list because vanity metrics don't matter here. You can have thousands of people on your mailing list, but if they're the wrong kind of people, they're not going to buy anything that you make. So if the goal of your mailing list is to make sales, you can see how the two they're like opposing magnets. They're like, pow! So after making quite a few mistakes with my own mailing list, I sat down and I thought, right, okay, what do I want to send out? And it came down to the bare minimum, because I didn't have the time to be writing lengthy newsletters. And if I was honest with myself at the time, I realised that I didn't want to be doing that anyway. And I wanted people who wanted to buy my work. And I thought, well, I'm attracting people who just want to see how I do my mailing list, because that was the other thing. When I first started this YouTube channel, I was promoting my mailing list here on this YouTube channel. But at the time, the people watching my videos and this channel were fellow handmade makers, people who were selling on Etsy, that kind of thing. So they weren't necessarily interested in what I was making so much as how I was selling it. So I was getting people signing up to the mailing list with no intention of purchasing from me. They just wanted to see what I did with the mailing list. Even though I was explaining it to them, they just wanted to see for themselves, I guess. Which is fine, but not my target audience. So you can see how you have to be really mindful about who you're going for and how you're going to attract them. And I realised that I had to be... strict isn't the right word. I think I had to be really, really strategic and only offer something that people who were genuinely interested in my work would be interested in, and that's a discount. There were no other bells and whistles offered. There still isn't. I also didn't want it to be jarring when I emailed people promoting my work, because that was the other trap that I fell into. I was trying to offer so much value to people who signed up to the newsletter that it was almost jarring to them when I did end up going, oh, by the way, and I've got these things that I'd like to promote to you. Would you like to buy one? Because they didn't sign up for that. So I was like, right, okay, I want people to know from the start that this is what this mailing list is for. They're going to get me promoting my work to them, and the only benefit to them is a discount off. And that might sound really basic and really boring, and like something that's not going to attract a lot of people, and it doesn't, but it does attract the right people. The people who sign up to my mailing list are there because they want to purchase my stuff. And this is why it's working so well for me. It is worth being very, very strategic. And like I say, it doesn't matter if your email list is really small, because again, vanity numbers don't matter here. So you have to think about what is the one main goal that you want your mailing list to do for you. For me, that was to help me make sales of my products. And then I had to think about, you've heard me say this before, you have to think about your lowest energy self and think, what could I achieve if I had to rock up and do the work as that version of myself? And sending out an email when I had a shop update or a new collection, and only then, that was doable. So it doesn't matter if I rock up and I've got no energy. It doesn't matter if I rock up and I've got all of the energy. I know that I can fulfill that promise. And that was how I knew that I only needed the bare minimum of what a mailing list provider could offer. So I knew I would need a platform that would enable me to make a sign-up form so that I could embed that onto my website and have people find it there and sign up. I knew that I was going to need a URL to the sign-up page so that I could share that on things like my Etsy shop or Instagram or in the description of YouTube if I wanted to do it, which I don't here. I did on my Beech Tree Handmade channel because that was a much better fit, because that channel, the whole point of that channel was so that I could talk about my business specifically. Obviously, I don't have that channel anymore, so that's null and void. And obviously, I needed to be able to send a welcome email. I mean, obviously, as I said, I still can. I just have to do it myself now instead of having Mailchimp do it for me. But that was pretty much all I needed to do. And anyone who plans on emailing anyone within the EU, the UK, even states in America, California, you're going to send out emails, you need to make sure that you are compliant by the laws of the countries that you're going to be emailing. And that is one thing that Mailchimp does very, very well. It's also one of the reasons why I'm going to be sticking with them for now. So once you know what you want to send, that's when you have to start choosing your platform. Now, as I say, I went with Mailchimp because I was aware of it at the time. It was offering a lot more for free than it is now, and it just did everything I needed it to, and it was simple to use. Since my little spat with Mailchimp, the other ones that I was looking at yesterday, Aweber, they do free automations. I'm not sure how they deal with GDPR. MailerLite was pretty much the same. Kit, which was previously ConvertKit, which was another one that I did look at when I first started my email list. It's pretty good if you also want to sell digital products and subscriptions through your emails. I don't need to, but I did think that was a pretty good pro. The issue, I almost switched to Kit yesterday until, this is one thing that really bothered me. They have a free offering which allows you to set up one automated email sequence, which would have been my welcome email. But here's the thing, it wasn't obvious until I started setting everything up that it's only free for 14 days, and you can, what did I write down here? You can move on to their permanent free newsletter plan, but you have to contact customer services first and ask them to do that for you. And I thought, bugger off. In fact, that is the only reason that I'm sitting in front of you today still dealing with Mailchimp and not now on ConvertKit/Kit or whatever the frick it's called, because why are you putting hoops in my way? I know why, because you want me to sign up and pay for it as well. This is what I mean. We are moving into a time on the internet where nothing will be free anymore. So we need to make the most of what we can while we have it. Start your mailing list now. Anyway, I just threw those names in there to give you an idea of what I was looking at. Now, I can't tell you which platform to go for. This is the sort of thing that you will have to roll up your sleeves and do some research yourself. Okay, so by this point, you know exactly what you want your email list to do and what you want to send them. Hopefully you've discovered a platform that doesn't annoy you too much and that you want to use. And then the next thing that you need to think about is what you're going to offer people in return for signing up to your mailing list. Because you have to remember, they are giving you their personal information. I've heard terms such as lead magnet. Basically, you've got to offer your subscribers something that makes it worth their time. not just to give you their information, but just putting up with you jumping into their inbox periodically. For me, that is the discount, because again, I am going for people who specifically want to purchase my work, or they think they might want to in the future. And so let's be honest, some money off is going to be helpful to everyone, especially in this economy. So that is their incentive to sign up to my mailing list. That, and hopefully the fact that I won't bombard them with emails. Because I've signed up to some email lists that, oh my goodness, I've unsubscribed within days because they're just like pow, 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 pow. And then once you've done that, you know what you're going to offer them. You need to create a sign-up form so that you can promote that, be it with a URL or a link somewhere, or as I've done on my website, an embedded form. So not only can you start to grow your email list, but you can do so knowing that you're doing it the right way. And then the last thing that I've got here is that you want to plan where you're going to promote it, because this is also important. You can't just throw it up wherever you are, because as I say, and I hope you took note of, I did that with this YouTube channel and I ended up attracting the wrong people. Everything that you do has to be done with your target audience in mind. I say this all the time. It doesn't matter if you're promoting your business, promoting videos, trying to grow your social media, whatever it is that you're trying to grow or trying to build, every decision that you make needs to be made with them in mind. And it's too easy to lose track of that, especially in this day and age when, as creators, the pressure is on to sort of create numbers, high numbers, like high numbers of subscribers, high numbers of followers, high numbers of this, that and the other. You need to have blinkers on, essentially, and it takes a fair amount of self-discipline. Sometimes I'm really good at it, sometimes I get distracted, I'm human, as are you. But when it comes to your mailing list, the pressure is off to a certain point, again, because nobody knows your numbers unless you're telling people. So the places that I am currently, I say promoting my email, I'm really bad at that, I need to get better. It's on my website and my Instagram, because obviously my website is only used for my products and my Instagram account is only used to promote that particular side of my business, so it's a good fit. I don't include it in the descriptions here. I could do now, I guess. Now I'm bringing the beech tree handmade part into this channel more, but I still don't think it would be a good fit, so I'm still not doing that. I figure if anybody really, really, really wants to join the mailing list, knowing that they're only going to get sold to and they're only going to get a discount, then they can take the extra step, because I think a lot of people will only take that extra step if they're serious. Sometimes you've got to think of your business in terms of taking away friction to make things easier for your viewers or your customers. And sometimes a little bit of friction is good. It's just knowing when to add it and when to take it away. So there you go. I hope this video has been helpful. I will say one more thing before I shoot off. It's a slow burn. So if you start a mailing list and you look at it and you think, nobody's signing up, that's normal, that's fine. Nobody signed up to my mailing list for the longest time. And even now, it is growing month on month, and I'm not doing anything other than, this isn't really promoting my mailing list, but it's not the intent anyway. But without promoting it, it is organically growing little bit by little bit every single month. But it's taken me a long time to even get to that point. There was a long time of it just being stagnant, really, not really growing, not really going backwards, just, yeah, that's normal, that's okay. And I think we need to normalize lower numbers. But small is actually perfectly normal in small business and running a handmade business. And I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to get to the big numbers. There's nothing wrong if you have those big numbers. I mean, bloody well done, because I know the amount of work that you've put into getting that. But I also think, don't interrupt me, for the sake of transparency, we also have to normalize the small numbers, because that's what most of us have, actually. It's okay. Quality, not quantity. And if you work really hard, over time, hopefully you'll have quality and quantity. But for me, 175 people, give or take, is a huge amount. I mean, I couldn't squeeze them into my house, so... All right! I better go now. I hope I haven't bored you. I hope you got some value from that. And if you have any questions, give me a shout. I'll see you next week. Ta-ra.